was that?
We're recording now.
Oh, we're recording.
Sweet.
Marilyn is one of my absolute favourites.
She was on the podcast. I think she was like maybe second guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
She's very, very, very good, very chatty.
She is. She was on my radio show and Jammy when I did it for BBC Radio Scotland, and I had her in like 3 episodes because she didn't stop talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, we'll just edit it into 3.
Yeah, you just set her off and she just goes, no, she's brilliant. How did that radio show come about?
From my Edinburgh Fringe show.
Yeah.
So the commissioner for BBC Radio Scotland came to the Fringe show and then chatted to me afterwards, and then I followed up with them in September.
Nice.
Afterwards, it was fine. It didn't turn out to be like the life-changing experience I thought it was going to be because of the pandemic. So it was delayed by like 9 months, and then they put it out at Christmas 2020 when everybody was really depressed. And it was a show about luck that had been mainly recorded pre-pandemic.
About how lucky everyone was.
How lucky people felt. So it wasn't the smasheroo
that had gone like, that taken off. Would you have kind of just like gone more to radio and less to comedy, do you think?
No, I doubt it.
Nah.
I mean, taking off, I mean, all that would have happened is maybe I would have got like another radio show, like another 3-part series or another. Or maybe one of the millions of pitches that I've already given them would have actually been green-lighted, but
really?
No.
What do you think's the best pitch you've done that you've kind of been like, I can't believe they didn't fucking pick that up?
Oh, I'm not telling you because I put them out to other people.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Let's not do that. Let's do that one off camera. Okay, what's been the one where you've kind of gone, well, I'm glad that didn't...
I can't think of anything that I've pitched that I've been glad that hasn't been taken, because I don't pitch things unless I actually really think that they'll be good. I have auditioned for a lot of things that I've been like, I hope this doesn't get made.
Really?
I really hope I don't get this.
Oh, really? What would you... I don't know. I've never auditioned for anything in my life. How was that? Would you just kind of get encouraged to audition for it and you're like, you can't say no?
Yeah, well, so, it's obviously like really nice to be asked to go and audition for things, and I'm privileged to be in that position. But, you do sometimes read scripts and go, how has this been given a pilot and my amazing show that hasn't?
Yeah,
and,
that must be frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Also, sometimes, but when I was chatting about this with Stuart McPherson the other night, so the comedy unit went through like a period of bringing me in a lot for different auditions and trying to it was really nice because they obviously wanted to fit me somewhere. And they sent me an audition script and I read it and I liked the script, but I was a bit unclear about who it was I was supposed to be. So it was about freshers. Yeah. And this is about 5 years ago, so I'd be like 36. And it was a show about people in their first year of university. And I was kind of reading it and I'm like, I'm not entirely sure who it is that I'm supposed to be reading for here. So I'd sent an email and they're like, oh, it's the best friend. And I was thinking, oh, maybe it's like a, Patsy from Ab Fab situation where she's got an old pal and nobody talks about the fact that there's never a discussion about how old she is. The age gap or even how old I am. And so I was like, oh, it must be a situation like that. And it was only the first, draft of a pilot script. So it was only about 6 pages for the reading.
It's not heavy in the detail.
There wasn't a lot of detail in it, so that was fine. So I arrive, the audition was in Glasgow, so I drive through from Edinburgh and get into the audition. And I walk in and everybody else that's sitting in the room is like 15 years younger than me. Oh, shit. And I'm like, right, okay. So I said to her, I was like, oh, who are you auditioning for? And she says the same part as me. I'm going... So I walk in and I know the guy, quite well. And he's like, oh, Jay, I really loved what you did in X, Y, and Z. And I was all right, okay. And he's like, so just usual thing, just like I read through, I'll read in these lines, you read that. And I'm going... Yeah, just before we start, I was like, how old is this person? And they were like, oh, like 19, 20. And I went, yeah, I'm 36. And they went, oh, but Jay, you look a lot younger than you are. And I went, yeah, thanks very much. That's great until you actually stand me beside a 19-year-old. And then I look every one of my 36 years. Thanks very much. And they were like, no. And I'm thinking, why am I talking myself out of getting this? And then I went, because I don't want to open Twitter to go, who's that really old woman who thinks she looks 19 and she's kissing that boy? That's disgusting.
That's fucking, isn't it creepy?
So Yeah, so I was quite glad that I didn't get a second return call.
But you
for
had
that.
to then just go through with the audition.
I had to do the audition, and like completely with a look on my face that went, I don't want to be the old person. And
Yeah.
I suppose it's like that American thing that when you watch American teenage shows, like I watched Dawson's Creek when I was growing up.
Loved that.
And they all seem so old and so mature. And then you found out they were all like 27.
Yeah.
Because Michelle Williams, she was the only one that was the actual age that she was playing.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else.
Yeah, they looked so old as well.
Yeah, they definitely did.
I now cringe looking back at actually enjoying that show. But I suppose you do. You're not.
I mean, the show was great. My favourite was Pacey. I absolutely love Joshua Jackson. I still love Joshua Jackson. Joshua, if you're watching.
Joshua, a keen fan of the show.
Big fan of Brown Jewels.
What's he doing now? I've not seen him in anything.
He was in something. He was in like a series thing about adultery.
All right.
I know you're speaking to me through the camera.
Joshua,
leave
if you're
your
out there.
husbands. Leave him. I loved Joshua. I loved Pacey. I just thought he was absolutely brilliant. And me and all my pals hated Dawson. Right, we absolutely hated him. And we used to be really mean about him because it's got a giant head.
That was an enormous head.
It was an enormous head, and we used to play crazy golf a lot. Like, I don't know why it was like a thing in the 90s.
Cool thing, yeah.
And you know, like if your ball goes right up against
The wall.
you're allowed to move it by a head, right?
Yeah.
And we'd be like, can I take a Dawson head? Like move it 3 times as far. So yeah, no, I didn't like him. And I liked Katie Holmes until she married Tom Cruise. And I was
I know.
like, what are you doing?
That is an absolute mad move from her.
Oh, weird vibes.
The NDAs she must be under, because she's not really kind of like, she doesn't really need the money, I suppose, but she's not really done anything since leaving Tom Cruise.
No, I know. He's probably, the Scientologists have probably got like a wee... can we talk about the Scientologists?
We can. Fuck the Scientologists.
Right.
I'm
that's what Ralph that said that. No,
I'm obsessed with Scientology.
Scientologists will hunt you down.
Do you know there's one just around the corner?
Yeah, just up the road. I know.
Yeah.
I once ended up in a Scientology centre.
No.
I did, 100%. I've done the test. I've done the, what's it they call it again? The reader. It's like the
yeah.
bleeper
How,
thing
yeah.
on
The with the cans and everything. Yeah,
the cans. I've done all that.
No
so yeah.
way.
So when I was living in LA, I hadn't been there very long, and my pal had come out to visit me in Victoria, and we were walking along Hollywood Boulevard, and she was going through like a period of I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I knew exactly what I was doing with my life. I was going to be a famous Hollywood actress.
Yeah.
Or alternatively shag a famous Hollywood actor.
That'll take that. We'll take that. Joshua, get out there.
Neither happened. But so we go past this big building, and it said career guidance, free career aptitude test.
Yeah.
And we were like, let's, because that's what we had literally just been talking about it. So we went in and we both were doing this career aptitude test, and we were there for hours. Because it was free, and also they gave us food, and we were both skin. I think it was like 20 or 21 or something. We were skin, and and we were there for hours and got. So I'll be on their books, the old Scientologists. I'll be somewhere on their system, and apparently should be working as a veterinary nurse, but.
So they give you a job at the end of what you should be doing.
Well, yeah, they gave you like career guidance along with a whole load of other.
Oh, the literature.
Other literature.
Yeah,
for me to read.
Dianetics. Take Dianetics away.
Yeah, but they hoovered me with their little detector. I thought I was getting like a wee test for radiation. I had no idea what I thought that had to do with careers.
Yeah.
But I answered all these questions, and the questions were, nothing to do. They're all psychological.
Yeah.
Questions.
And you're like, well, this isn't anything to do with
I know.
my
I
job.
didn't even. I was just like. Take it away. I would easily have ended up in a cult in my early 20s. Easily. I was so not savvy.
Really?
I was cutting about London and LA and like, oh no, it sounds like I was savvy. I was oblivious to everything
floating on
in
through
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a photo shoot in the back of somebody's van. Thought it was completely normal. Thought that was just, he told me his studio had been flooded. I was like, fine.
Fucking jump on in the van.
I jumped in the van. Nothing actually happened to me, which now makes me go, was that too ugly?
What was wrong with me?
Kidnapped? Like, it's so because there was a big thing when I was there that girls were being Like this sounds like
This is gonna. Where's this going, Jay?
grim, right? It was like there's a thing about like girls auditioning for reality because it was before. This is like maybe 2001, 2002, and reality TV was just becoming a thing. It wasn't like a big thing, and it was only famous people. So you had the Osbournes, and the Osbourne show. Like it was well before the Kardashians, like
all that,
you know,
I
a
remember
twinkle in Kris
off.
Jenner's eye, you know, like all of that. So it was just really, I think Big Brother had been on in the UK, maybe first or second season.
Yeah, so it's probably it's about to boom,
like just embryonic, just about to go off. And so I would go to all these auditions that were for reality TV things. And you would get very little information from the agents. They would just like send you to things. Hence the reason I jumped in the back of somebody's van and had a photo shoot without thinking twice. I mean, it wasn't just me. There was a queue of people going to have
everyone
a photo.
went in the van.
Yes. I don't know what happened to those photos. And see, when I think about what the photos were, I mean, they weren't like nudie photos. That would have rang a bell at least.
Yeah, now take your clothes off the back of the van.
That would have been like, oh, no, okay.
Some people wouldn't have, though. Some people would have gone, okay, yeah.
Right,
seems legit.
Yeah, there was like a thing of all these women who were auditioning for what they thought was reality TV, but they were actually, you know, just ending up in cults.
Yeah.
So I should have been more wise.
But you dodged it, though. You got through all that.
I mean, as far as I know, I dodged. I mean, I'm in comedy.
Yeah, that is a bit of a cult. That is the worst cult out there.
Kind of a cult. But yeah, I was just so naive.
Wow.
And I didn't realise, because you don't realise how naive you are. And like, you think from the age of 16 to the age of 26, I thought I knew everything. It wasn't until I got to about 26, 27 where I'm like, I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing.
I think it was 30 for me. I think at 30 I was like, I was a fucking idiot. I genuinely, that was the age for me, but I just kind of clicked a few things and I was just like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
I did all these things. Like I did. I'm so lucky, touch wood, that I came out like relatively unscathed.
Was this in your jammy show? Was any of this featured in this?
No, none of that was
survived
featured.
all the cults.
I don't think BBC Scotland would.
Yeah, good point.
I don't know if they're quite into. I did a photo shoot in the back of a van. Thought it was normal.
Everything's fine with that.
So yeah, no,
Wow. So what happened at the end of... Because I know at the end of the Scientology test, they basically say, oh, Christ, this isn't good. You should do more with us. You should come back in again. Is that what they did to you?
Yeah, so basically they said I should be a veterinary nurse, which I was like, no, because like I cried for about 16 weeks when my fish died. I don't think I could cope with being a veterinary
You're not cut
nurse.
out for that, no.
I was devastated when my fish died. When I was like 17, my fish died. It's called Flounder.
Flounder, perfect.
And I was really upset about it, and I thought, I don't think veterinary nurses for me.
Yeah, so you saw that and these people are full of shit.
Yeah, I had a hamster that choked to death on my duvet cover as well, because it ate it while I was at school. The cage was at the bottom of the bed, and it
choked.
It didn't, not at that time, but not long afterwards. I'm pretty sure the duvet was
it's the beginning of the end. If you're eating a duvet, fucking hell.
I came in, half of my duvet had been eaten. It was just all feathers. Like, you can even see into the cage. It was just a big mound of feathers. So I didn't think veterinary nurse was in my future.
No, that is definitely not it.
So they said they gave me the veterinary nurse, and I said, no, I don't think that's my future. Yeah. And they were like, well, you could come to, and started to chat to us about all these courses that we could do.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, okay, and gave us all the literature, and we were supposed to come back on a certain date, but we left, and then we met with some friends who were quite a bit older, like, so we were in our 20s, they were like 26, 27 or something. Yeah. We're like, that's a Scientologist. And I don't even think I knew what Scientologists were. Yeah. And they had to explain to me what Scientologists were. And so now I'm on their books. I'm somewhere in their system.
Yeah, you will be. I mean, it's, but back then they wouldn't have even known, because it's only been since maybe like, I'm going like deep into Scientology nerdism, like when Leah Remini, is when she left. That's when she was one of the first people to start exposing it.
She's brave.
She is.
She's still looking for David's, what's it?
Shelley Miscavige.
She's still looking for her.
Yeah. Someone did I think it was the guy who hosted the Golden Globes. Can we get his name up, Corbin? The guy who hosted the Golden Globes did a joke about Shelley Miscavige at the Golden Globes in front of the Scientology room, like filled with them. Said that Tom Cruise handed back his Golden Globes or something like that, and he went, "Oh, can we get these in exchange for Shelley Miscavige?" And the whole room just went, "Fuck." So yeah,
He's going to end up on the Scientologist list.
Oh my God, he is on the hit list.
I've watched that going clear. Like I've watched that
Yeah.
when they like just hound that guy and just keep turning up at his house. So
Yeah.
do you know, like I don't want hounded by Scientologists. You live your best life.
Yeah, there's like because I used to walk up the one at the bridges. I used to like every Friday I used to go and get like a Subway and walk past the free personality test, and I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
Just the big kind of like sandwich board outside, and I just thought Then I realised it was them, and I was like, "I wish I'd gone in."
That's probably what it was. That's probably what we did, but it was around careers.
Yeah,
but it was a full like
Wow, I've never met anyone that's done a Scientology.
Yeah, did the full whack.
That is fascinating.
It was Gerard Carmichael.
Yeah,
he was the one who did it, and
he's now dead.
Yes, we haven't discovered that yet.
Do you think Coben has got like the best voice for
it does
for podcasts and
Yeah,
radio announcing?
Thank you.
We just close your eyes and like, yeah, Coben. That's keep talking, man.
Oh, I'll keep talking.
It's a shame that his face doesn't match that.
The amount of people
Free for all Jay's back. Your face looks like shit.
The amount of people who have told me I have a face for radio is hurtful.
You're a very handsome young man, but your voice does not fit your face.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Yeah.
That works. I'm
Take
okay
the compliment,
with that.
man.
Yeah. No, that's I'm taking it. That's a win for me. Hey Jay, do you browse through railway timetables, directories, or dictionaries just for pleasure?
No.
Okay. Do you get a these are just questions off the test.
Was that the test?
Yeah, I have just a few of them, but so you don't remember any of this. That's concerning.
No, they were. I mean, we're talking 20 years ago.
Okay.
So
yeah. It's
been a long time since I did it. There was a lot of questions that centered around what you would do if. So I remember that, like lots of scenarios. You're in this particular scenario, and how would you react?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember thinking that does, help with, I guess, career guidance.
Yeah, but that's they prey on people that, again, more Scientology stuff. They prey on people who are like vulnerable, who are lonely, who just don't know where they go in life.
Yeah.
And then they go, come into our church and we'll give you meaning, we'll give you food.
And give you all our money.
We'll try and be the ones that guide you. But I mean, suppose, let's not go too deep in this, but I think all religion does that, but Scientology are like the predators on that.
Yeah, they've figured it out.
Yeah.
And it was a fun way to spend an afternoon.
Free food.
Free food.
Free food. Put free food in front of me, anyone will do it.
I think we got a cup of tea.
Ah.
Yeah, and that's what we did. But so I'm slight, ever since I've seen all the kind of Leah Remini stuff and Going Clear, I'm like, I'm on their books.
Yeah, you will be.
They might, when the rapture, do they believe in the rapture? No idea.
Don't think they do.
When their version of the rapture comes, I might get the call.
You be in there. You'll be first in the spaceship.
I could be up with the aliens. I'm an alien.
The absolute mad bastards. I love it though. I love it.
That's what I do with my son when I'm an alien.
I'm an alien. What's that from again?
I don't know, but it's from something.
Yeah, I'm an alien.
I'm an alien.
So what else did you do out in LA there? I wasn't going to talk about this, but what else happened out in LA?
Not much.
Nah. Did you start doing comedy out there?
I did some improv type stuff.
All right, okay.
I wasn't a stand-up,
Right.
so I was mainly focusing on acting, and I did. I mainly went to a lot of parties and hung out with. There's a whole big long story which I cannot do in video about why I was there.
Love it.
And yeah, I mainly went to parties, and I was really into. My friends were in a band called Common Rotation.
Okay.
And they did tours and kind of hung out and watched them. And
for your 20s, you're just chilling out in LA, going to parties.
Yeah, I mean, I say it like not for a very long time. Like,
I mean, it's pretty sweet though.
A couple of years on and off, and then back here, and then decided to be a comedian.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow.
Wow. And I've never been back. I keep thinking I should go back, and I think it'd be very different now.
Yeah, I went to LA when I was like 21, thinking it was all going to be Beverly Hills type. me and my mate went, and just like the most disorganized trip ever, and we were staying in like downtown LA.
Yeah.
It was
in the business district.
It was wherever we were, it was a shithole. It was just like gunshots going off. We were staying in like a sketchy Holiday Inn. It was rough. And in my head, it was just like, oh, LA is Hollywood and Hollywood is Beverly Hills, so it's just all going to be mansions everywhere. And what an eye opener that is when you get there. Everyone.
Did you do a photo shoot in the back of a van? Did you say hi to Nigel?
Oh my god.
I'm trying to remember what it was for. It was allegedly for an advert for something. I'm trying to remember what the actual product was.
No, that's brilliant. It's balls on someone to just stop someone. Did he stop you in the street to just do it?
No, it was.
It was through an agency
It was
type
through
thing.
an agency.
Right.
Yeah, it was through an agency. But I did used to get stopped in the street all the time. I would get stopped in the street because I looked like an idiot and very young. And obviously they would hear the accent and be like, "Oh, she's come here to be a star."
Get in here, get in the van.
You told that all the time. Like you'd be stopped in a shopping mall, like, "Oh, I'm scouting for blah 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 and blah, and we think you'd be amazing." And then, you know, it's $30 for this photo and $40 for the registration for the agency, and I was like, "Yay!"
Yeah, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be in Hollywood.
But I did loads of stuff. Another really mental thing I did while I was there was skin, obviously, from paying all the money for the photo shoots and agency work. And my friend was visiting, and we wanted to do one of the Hollywood tours, right? But they were quite expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, they were probably weren't like by today's standards, but say it was like $40 or something to go on the bus and go around Beverly Hills, and like they stop outside Britney Spears' house and the Osbournes' house and all that sort of thing. So we were looking at it and we're kind of like, oh, that's really expensive. And there's a guy standing with like a big beard, big mustache, with a little sign with saying he did tours for $20, right? For the car, not
right, okay.
$20 each. So we go over to him and we give him their money, and we should have had alarm bells straight away, because the first thing he did was take us into the mall and into a Lush shop. And he went, "Just tell these girls I'm not a serial killer." And we were like, okay. And they were like, "No, he's fine. He's not a serial killer." We're like, okay.
That's a weird thing to open with.
And we go down into this parking garage underground. And at this point, my friend Victoria and I were holding hands, and I've got like my keys out wrapped around my knuckles.
Shit.
But still, we got into the back of this guy's car.
We paid her $20. We're seeing these houses.
Yeah, we're Scottish. We paid $20 for this, right? And we get in the back of this guy's car, and he takes us out, and the first thing he says, right, and we're still really anxious at
How
this
shitty
point.
is the car?
The car had orange peels all over the back seat. So we were both sitting in the back of a car, and there's orange peels all around our feet. And I don't mean just like 3 or 4 orange peels. I mean like mountains of orange peels. Like our feet, you couldn't see your feet for the orange peel. The car smelled amazing. It was like a citrus.
The best orange air freshener ever. Yeah.
Explosion in that car, honestly. I thought I was orange juice. That was in a carton of orange juice. So we're like, this is weird. And we get out onto the main drag of Hollywood Boulevard, and then he just like reverses really fast down an alley, like down a tiny little alleyway, reverses, and it's like a big Volvo style car, right? And we're like, what is going on? And he reverses down and he swings around, and actually what he was showing us was the most amazing mural, a graffiti arted mural, like not an official mural, and it was all like Hollywood legends from the 1910 all the way, just amazing, huge big Marilyn Monroe, like just amazing thing right up, and there was like George Clooney, it was up to that date
up there,
and we were like, oh my god, that's amazing, and he was telling us all the history about it. Anyway, the rest of the day was absolutely amazing. He took us everywhere, and it wasn't like he didn't stop outside, say like the Osbournes' house. He'd like drive right up to the gate and try and get in. And so he'd be like, "Hey, it's John." And it turned out he'd been in 380 Hollywood movies.
Right.
He was an extra. Right?
Okay.
That's how he made his money, when he wasn't driving, young women around Hollywood. And he was in his 60s. He was a granddad and stuff. He'd lived in LA his whole life. 300 odds, like he'd been in more movies than he was like in some version of the Guinness Book of Records. And
This is the real tour.
He's probably dead now. Like,
Yeah.
it was amazing. And then we pull, so the oranges then become like obvious what's happened. So he pulls outside Angela Lansbury's house.
Yeah.
And she's got orange trees in her front garden, and he jumps the wall. So Angela Lansbury lives in a house with no, like, it's not gated.
Yeah.
It's like completely, you can walk up to it. Because she's old school. Like,
Yeah,
she's like,
she doesn't give a shit.
Any stalkers come in, I'll just,
Fuck
kill
them up. Yeah.
Bibbity bobbity boo them, I don't know. So he jumps into Angela Lansbury's garden and gets us oranges, and we all sit in the car outside Angela Lansbury's house and eat an orange, and then he went, just throw them on the floor, get off.
Of course. So where else would I put them?
So that explained the orange peels.
Shit.
So yeah, that was, and then he was so nice, and we wanted to go, I think we wanted to go to the House of Blues or something like that that night, and we were chatting about it, and Ellie, like, we didn't have a car, right, and the bus
Huge.
service is horrendous.
Yeah.
And this is the days before Ubers, right? It was really quite difficult to get a taxi around places. And so he was like, well, how are you going to get there? And I'm like, oh, I'll try and get a taxi, I'll try and get a cab, or we'll try and get a lift with like my housemate or something. And he's just like, oh, I'll come back and get you. I'll come back. So he came, took us to the House of Blues, then came back at like 2 a.m. and took us home. For
What?
for the $20.
For $20 all in.
All in.
What a tour, by the way.
I think we might have given him more money.
Yeah,
I
a wee
think when
tip
we
at
were
the
drunk
end.
or something.
Yeah.
We were like,
Oh my
like,
God.
But it was. So it turned out not only was he not a nasty man.
Yeah, he was the nicest.
He was the nicest man. But if there are any young women, in their late teens, early 20s, I wouldn't recommend it as
Don't do it now.
Don't do it now. This is like, we didn't even have mobile phones, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, maybe we did. Maybe we had one mobile phone between us. I'm not even.
You can just imagine Angela Lansbury at a window being like, that fucking guy's back again.
She's like, I'm gonna have to get more orange trees. It's like, guys.
Every fucking day.
But yeah, it was great. He was fun.
Because I did the shit when I paid for the one that you go in like the open top pickup and you like, and this is Coney Cox's house. Stop, move. And it was absolute shit.
Yeah.
So you got the actual behind the
Got
scenes
proper.
Hollywood tour.
He actually tried to, when we got up to Britney Spears' house, and it was like right at Britney's shaved her head time.
Oh, right. Oh,
like
cool.
it was right at proper breakdown Britney. I think that had happened like either a few months before or even weeks before.
Yeah.
And the gates opened as we were driving past, and he went, "Oh, I'll try and get in behind this car." And I was like, "No fucking don't." Shot at Britney Spears' house.
Yeah, by Britney.
Yeah, by Britney herself. Or her first shaved my head.
Oh my, that is brilliant. What a guy. What
I
a
know,
guy.
he was a legend.
Probably very rare out in Hollywood. They
Yeah.
are predatory
But
out there.
this is like my experience. Like I should have. This is why I said earlier, I don't know how I never ended up in a cult. Because I just willy.
It's not too late, Jay. It's
willy
not too
nilly.
late.
Like I'm too jaded now. Like
Yeah.
I'm too.
You would see through
I
it.
got to 26, and I just had like an epiphany that I'd been a complete moron for the last 10 years, and had probably risked my life on multiple occasions, just by not being aware of my surroundings in any way, shape, or form.
But got good stories to back it up, and you've survived. You've got it
So
all.
far. So far. I really want to know, because now I'm a mum, right? And now all my friends are mums, and we talk all the time about, like, so I had my child late in life, but all of my friends had their kids, in their, not all of them, but lots of them had their kids in their 20s. So their kids are now like teenagers and like, getting into their early 20s and stuff. And we sit and talk about the stuff that we did. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying that your kids would be doing that. And I remember, like, I don't know, my hen or something, telling some stories. My mum just sitting there like, what?
She was hearing it for the first time, yeah.
Things that she heard that I'd done for the very first time. And she's just like, I'm so glad I didn't know any of this.
Oh, yeah.
And I get really worried that my wee one is going to have my complete lack of awareness until he's like 26.
Yeah, but I mean, you're probably more aware now to be like, try and just guide them to be like, don't do that.
I know, my parents said things like, don't speak to strangers, don't get in a car with a guy you don't know, don't walk willy-nilly into a cult and give them all of your personal details. Like fill in a form about, all sorts. There was things like, there was. They asked me when I lost my virginity. I remember thinking that was weird for a career. Unless
the Scientologist asked that.
I'm sure they asked that.
I thought you meant your parents asked you that, and I was like, oh
God, no. I told my mum when I lost my virginity. I came walking in and gave her it.
No way. How did that go down?
She just went, I hope you were careful.
Yeah, I suppose that's all parents' concerns.
And in my mind, that just meant like because she didn't want to be a granny at like 38, which was fair enough.
That's a good point as well. Yeah. I don't think I could ever broach that subject.
Does your mum still think you're a virgin?
She listens to this, Mum. I'm holding out, Mum. I'm holding out till marriage.
He's a good boy.
One day. Oh, that's wild. Oh, Christ. How did we even get onto that?
I don't know. I did not expect to tell any of those stories.
Brilliant stories, to be fair.
I don't even think we've done an introduction.
Oh, no, I do that beforehand.
Oh, right. That's
Imagine this was it. Just like, there's it piling through.
Here's this mad woman just getting on.
There was one thing, well, a few things that I was like dying to talk to you about.
Yeah.
The first one you did, I'm so jealous of what you did last year. Okay. You were a judge on the Scottish Food Awards.
Yes.
And I remember when I saw you were judging a food competition, I was like, that's my dream job, Jay.
It was pretty amazing.
Dream job.
Yeah.
How did that come about? How did you get this?
So it was via the Corrins, the Gilded Balloon. So it was held. The Scottish Food Awards was held at the Pit, and I am a regular. Or what? The Pit's now closed because it's moving. But at that time, as a regular compere at the Pits, the Gilded Balloon, Leith. What's it called again?
The Archers, but
Social, Leith Social.
Yeah, Leith Social, yeah.
Gilded Balloon's Leith Social. I'm like one of the regular compares, and they had just phoned the Corrins and were like, oh, it'd be quite good if we could have a comedian. And I think Katie Corrin went, I know someone that likes food. And I was like, yes.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Although we got a whole email about the prep. There's a lot of prep that goes in because we ate 22 plates in 4 hours.
Well, that's a lot of food.
It was a lot of food because everybody in the competition had to put up 2 plates. Mm-hmm. And so 22 plates in like 4 hours.
How surely the people getting the last plate you're getting is probably not getting as fair as with your first one.
Well, that's like why there was like even if you really like something, don't take more than 2 bites and things like that.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
So, and what ended up happening was that I didn't realise you should have texted me because I was allowed to have a table. So I got like a table of friends, so like Muchie and Liam and my husband and my wee boy and Liam's wife and Ailey, Lauren and Ailey, and a couple other people came down and they sat. So everything that I didn't eat, just gave to them.
Oh, I'd take that. I'd take the scraps, Jay.
So, and it wasn't scraps though, like, because I was only allowed to have like 2 mouthfuls of each thing. So they were plating up full, like full plates of chips, full everything. They were allowed to have sides as well. Oh. So like you would get a full meal plus if they decided to plate up a side and then another full meal, and that might have a side as well. So it wasn't scraps they were getting. They got getting like full meals.
Oh my God, that's
with like me having taken 2 bites out of it.
And are you're going through it? Are you going, Christ, that's going to be hard to top? And then the next one's coming along, and the next one.
And weirdly, so the people who won and then went on to win the entire thing, so they won the Scotland one, then they went off and won the UK one, then they went off and won the European one, is a company called We Are Junk.
I went there.
Have you been?
I went there off the back of them winning it, and I went, I wonder how good it is. Holy shit.
I took 30 people for my birthday.
I saw that. Yeah, that's the one. When I saw your post about that, I was like, oh, I need to check this place out.
Yeah.
Went online, checked the menu, saw the thing on the menu, and I like almost just jumped in my car instantly.
They're so nice as well. And the other thing was that it's a couple that run it, and they just had a wee girl. Mm-hmm. So they've got 2 kids, one the same age as my wee boy, like 3, and then they had just had a baby. And so they were doing the food awards, I think 3 weeks after she'd been born. Right. And she was just strapped to the mum's chest, and she does all the plating and all the kind of like fanciness. She runs the front of house, and her husband makes the food.
Yeah.
And so she was doing all that with just this like baby strapped
Impressive.
to her and a 3-year-old running around. And it just, their food is amazing. Their ethos is brilliant. I just, honestly. And it's one of those things that I go, kids don't stop you from achieving your dreams at all. You know, people say all the time, and like, I'll ask me, how do you manage to do what you do with a child? And I'm like, children don't stop you doing anything.
Yeah.
I think it's like, you just have to be flexible.
Yeah. Crystal was saying that. Crystal was like, don't get me wrong, it's hard.
It's hard, yeah.
But you do it and it doesn't stop you. Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's very cool. I had the crumpets, the buttermilk chicken and bacon, and honest to God, Jay, I was just like, how long do I have to wait before I come back and have this exact same meal? It was so good.
Their food is so good.
You put buttermilk chicken in anything and I will eat it.
Yeah.
Crumpets as well. Such an old man. Love crumpets.
I love a crumpet.
So when I saw that, I was like, that is
I really
dream.
like, they do like a hot dog thing, and it's spiraled inside of a potato with cheese. So it's like, it looks like a hot dog, but it looks like a bun, but it's not a bun. It's spiraled potato, deep fried with cheese, and then a hot dog in the middle of it. It's actually just getting like,
yeah, I know. I'm so hungry as well.
they're only just up the road.
I know. If you're in Edinburgh, going, it's junk. It's Long Newington. I can never. What's that street called? South Clark Street.
South Clark. Yeah, one of them. South
Just
Clark
like
Street,
round the other side of Summer Hall. Oh my God, it's
amazing.
so good.
So
So you're
good.
in there and you're just kind of judging all this stuff.
Yeah.
How hard is that to kind of go, that is a clear winner? Because it all looked really good.
Theirs was like, they had, not only did they have the food, but they had like a thing, because their whole, I think he used to work for Six by Nico, and so the idea is like, it was like this sort of fine dining experience, but in street food.
Right.
So I can't remember what it was, but you opened a can and like all this dry stuff come out of it, and so it was really visually beautiful as well. And they did like a crab dish. It was amazing. Their food was so good, and all the food was really good. There was a falafel guy whose food was really good, and then there was a woman who makes, oh God, what are they called again? It's like a Canadian thing.
Poutine?
Know. No, it's like a Canadian pudding. You get it in Canada's Wonderland. That's where I remember getting it from. It's like a waffle.
Oh, funnel cake.
Funnel cakes,
Funnel cake? Fox.
Funnel cake.
Oh, God.
Can we see a funnel cake?
Yes.
I've never even heard of it.
A funnel cake. So there's a girl who has a funnel cake. She's Canadian. She's a funnel cake company. And there was only 2 people doing desserts, and she was one of the desserts. And if there had have been a prize for just like sweet stuff, but she was up against like, junk and this amazing Mexican place, and funnel cake.
And Canada's Wonderland is the first place I had funnel cake.
Is that the first?
Oh, it's so good.
I had funnel cake and then went to see the Bare Naked Ladies live. What a day in the 90s that was.
What a day in Canada. That's pretty much the two
very
things you
Canadian.
can do.
The 2 most Canadian things: Bare Naked Ladies, the band, not like for
the
anybody
band.
who's not aware.
Yeah, amazing band.
Wow.
Yeah, so good, and they'll put whatever you want on it. Generally, it's fruit and icing sugar, and it's so good.
It is. It's amazing.
That's a Canadian
funnel cake.
icon.
So can I get this in Edinburgh somewhere?
Yeah, she's got the funnel cake company.
Also, is that the cake? That's the company's called that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Really good.
phenomenal.
Really good.
I'm going to be looking that up, because the other one was the Sri Lankan, who maybe got the second place, the Sri Lankan street food, and I found where they are in Edinburgh. I was like, I'm 100% going to check that out.
But it was so funny, because it was me whose only credentials of food is eating it. And
Pretty good credentials, to be fair.
Yeah, and then there was like a Michelin starred chef. There was a food blogger, like one of the most kind of followed food bloggers in Edinburgh or in the UK, I think she is.
Yeah.
And then me and the guy from Young Fathers, and me and him were just like, don't know why we're here, but we're not complaining.
Yeah, we'll be back next year.
Yeah. I honestly sent them an email like, he's coming back next year. Do you need a judge? I'm totally up for this.
Fair play, Jay. Fair play. That is so good. I'll come along. I'll come along this year.
I'll get you on the scraps table if I get the job again.
Well, surely you'll get a look in for that.
I hope so. Well, I chose the freaking winners, mate. So
exactly. And now they're going on. They've won everything, like you say.
They've won everything.
I feel like I could easily do a podcast just about food. It's like it's the thing I'm obsessed with most. And I'm really.
I would do that podcast with you.
Yeah. Oh, that's well. I always wanted to do one like someone would tell me to what their favorite meal is, and I'll try and make it because I'm not that good a chef. So, and I would try and make it and just try and make it as best as possible. But I think that would just fall down because I'm just so bad at it.
That sounds like you ruining people's favourite meals. That's not like, this was so that I got this, and the night I got engaged, I was like, I'm going to fuck it up.
That would be if I had a TV show, it would somehow involve food. If any kind of pitch I was doing for a TV show, it would be that. Comedians and food. That doesn't happen enough.
No, it doesn't.
And I don't know. I need to get some contact details from the BBC and start pitching that. I'd be like, I want to ruin people's favourite dishes.
Just ruin it for them.
I was going to talk to you about you do like comedy for kids as well.
I do.
Do you still do that?
Yes, yeah.
That seems like an absolute chaotic thing to get involved in.
I mean, I did. So I started off doing it. So Lara Bros of Bros Bagels used to run a youth theatre.
All right.
And so she asked me to come and teach her kids stand-up comedy skills about 10 years ago.
Right.
And so I started doing that, and then I would do it every year. And then when she gave up when she gave up the youth theatre for Bros Bagels, and Shauna McDonald, who's a BAFTA winning actress and a very good friend of mine, she took it over. And so we started doing week-long ones. And previous to that, I'd ran things for teenagers. I come from a third sector background.
Yeah.
So before, when I used to do comedy as for fun, I used to run comedy courses for Impact Arts. And
cool.
I did it for teenagers. I did it for Glasgow Comedy Festival. So Hannah Campbell, as a teenager, or very, very early 20s, maybe 1920, came and did my course in Glasgow.
No way.
Yeah. And now she's a married person, which makes me feel really old.
Yeah, I met Hannah for the first time. She did spandex on Tuesday.
She's ace.
Crushed it.
Yeah, she's ace.
So funny.
Really good. So yeah, you can thank me.
That's that's one of your pupils.
That's one of my former pupils out doing it. So yeah, so now I'm running it for the for the Stand Comedy Club. So we run one in Edinburgh. We're starting one in Glasgow, and then one in Perth, Stirling or Perth. So yeah, started one in January. It runs for 6 weeks, and then February for 6 weeks, and then April I think we're on another one. So yeah, so I'll have worked with about 200 children doing stand-up comedy before the end of the spring.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And you just like, what's it like in the room, like trying to like round up these kids to do it?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's a bit wild because as much as I've done it before lots of times, it's either been with children who have signed up for it or for kids from theatre background, which is always much easier to work with.
They'll walk right in it.
Whereas these are like, it's full primary school classes. So I've got the full class, whether or not they want to be there, they're in. And I'm teaching them lots and lots of different skills, like improv skills and writing skills and sketch comedy. So the idea is that after 6 weeks, they then do a performance at whichever is their closest stand, and they get to get up on the iconic stage and do their first ever stand-up sketch or improv, or just depends. So yeah, I think the hardest thing will be trying to figure out who wants to do what. That'll be the hardest bit.
Yeah. So then, so Hannah's done it. Is there anyone else you've kind of gone, like, do you just see them on stage and you go, natural?
Yeah, there's been loads of kids that, I mean, the last time I hosted one, so there was, we did one with a kid with school in Fife last year, and there was like 27 kids in it, and they all got up on the stage, and I had been hosting a Red Raw the night before, and these 27 kids were far funnier than anybody that had sat on that stage at Red Raw. Like, honestly, they just rang rings round the adults. The writing was unique. There was like so many funny asides, just really naturally funny kids. And I came off stage and I said to Mike and Eva that run, Eva that's been at the stand for years, and Mike that's like the director, and I was just like, these kids, like, we should just have them on every week. Let's get rid of Red Raw.
That thing, the uniqueness of a child's mind is just like mind blowing anyway. But you give them like, you can do comedy. They go all other than just some guy just going up Madeline McCann and 9/11.
Why is there still Madeline McCann and 9/11 jokes? I feel like literally whenever I go to an open mic night, I feel like I've transported back 20 years. I'm like, why are we, what, this wasn't even cutting edge then.
It's embarrassing.
It's horrendous.
Yeah, anytime I see it, I'm just thinking, fucking come on.
I yelled out, I chewed out a guy, like, and Coben was probably there when I did this, but I chewed a guy out for doing a 9/11 and Madeline McCann jokes. And
yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah, and then he came back about 2 months later, and still he didn't do any Madeline McCann jokes, but he did a 9/11 joke, and I had to chew him out again.
Yep. People don't learn.
You almost want to kind of like vet these people to come in and be like, look, you're allowed to say anything on stage, but we've heard all of this.
Yeah.
This has all been done. This was 22 years ago now. It's all been done.
We should have a list. There should be a list in every comedy club that's just like, no jokes about this, no jokes. And the Stand used to have a list when I don't know if they still do this. Do they still do that?
There was I remember when I started, there was kind of like a list of like, not rules, but kind of like, this is what to, don't be a dick.
So they used to say,
don't get your dick out on stage.
Don't talk about reality TV. They used to say like,
really?
Yeah, they used to be
I
like,
didn't see that.
Because at that time it was all Jade Goody stuff. Do you know, it was all stuff about, and this is pre-Jade's like cancer or anything like that, but it was all really basic misogynistic stuff about women and women on reality TV shows. And the Stand used to put a thing saying, you know, like, you can do what you want, but we would suggest the topic of reality TV is done, the topic of this is done, you know, unless you've got the best.
Which you don't.
Which you definitely don't.
I think of certain people will be like, oh, you find it offensive. No, it's boring.
And it's not funny. And I just
really
think, like, the whole point of comedy, funnily enough, is to make the audience laugh. Your job is to bring joy, right? Your job is to bring laughter and bring joy. And there's like a space for you to, you know, there's a space for and a bit naughty for laughing at that. Just your whole point is to bring joy. So say something that is going to bring joy.
It almost puts me going off to like Red Raw. You just like, you know, sometimes you go on a Monday for a few drinks, and then you just see these nutbags getting on stage, and you just think, fucking, here we go again.
Oh, you've got 10 minutes left.
Sweet, cool.
He was trying to do it in a sexy.
I did not see that.
He's like, ooh. Imagine if I'd had a gin.
Oh my God. Jay, we're doing this again, and we're going to get hammered before this. We're going to get shit-faced and then just come and sweep the table.
I know. Shoot. Oh, yeah. For context, Ralph said he was going to bring me a gin and then didn't. And then Coben made me a cup of tea, which I then just shoved all over the table within 2 minutes because I was raging about the gin.
I mean,
I'm a diva.
Lashed out.
The Scientologists gave you tea and you happily accepted it. I give you tea, make a mess of the place.
Made a mess of the place.
Shame and heartache.
There was one last thing. Your shows this year. Bahuki?
Bahuki, yeah.
Bahuki. Also, I love what you've done with the format of your Fringe show names.
Yeah.
You don't really, you kind of go like Scottish word, go off the theme of that. Brilliant. Whereas the rest of us are just like, what the fuck am I going to do? And you've kind of got fucking down.
I think what you've realised is that, or what you've highlighted is that I found something and now I won't let it go.
But it's perfect. If I'm trying to find that. Yeah. I would love to find that.
So I've had Bisms, Wisht, Jammy, Blether, and now Bahuki. There's a lot of bees in there. A lot of bees
in there.
I was going to leave it. Like, it was very bizarre. So I had planned to do a show. My 2020 show was called Hedgehog, which is really weird because then Phil Ellis did a show called Hedgehog this year or last year, 2022. And so it never happened because, and then when I came back, when the Fringe came back, Karen Codden was like, can you please do a Scottish word?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, Blether is the best because we've not been able to have a wee Blether.
Yeah.
So I did
perfect.
Blether. So now I've got Bahuki, which for those of you who are not Scottish means you're a bum, you're arse.
You're arse.
You're arse. You're Bahuki.
Yeah.
You're talking out, you're Bahuki.
And can you roughly explain, well, not even roughly, explain the show?
No.
You're not.
No, I can't explain it because who knows? I can tell you the high concept idea.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So my idea for the show was that I am 41 and no, I'll look 19 according to the comedy unit. And the show, without it sounding too like, I hate it when comedians describe their shows because it makes it sound much more intelligent than it's actually going to be, and also makes it sound really worldly. Yeah. And there will still be a lot of dick and jokes in it, of course. So the concept behind it was, I've turned 41. I'm in a different time in my life. I started comedy 20 years ago. I was 21 when I did my first set. And the industry's changed and I've changed and my experience of life is totally different now. And I feel a lot more... I'm so much more confident in who I am now than I ever was. Yeah. And I feel that, you get over 40 and there's this whole thing about invisible women. You become invisible as a female. And I've never been a sexy person. So this was like going to be a show about me kind of, finding that space. So I'm really rambling now, right?
No. It makes sense. It makes sense.
So basically, I was really sick of Instagram trying to tell me that I was perimenopausal. Yeah. If I hear the term perimenopausal one more time, I'm actually going to have a rage, which I know doesn't really help with the symptoms of the perimenopause. I'm so sick of people telling me.
Yeah, you're fucking raging.
My eggs, obviously I went through infertility, and the last 3 of my shows are about infertility. Yeah. I don't need you to tell me my eggs are dried up, right? That's like my eggs were actual shit before the perimenopause. So you're like, oh, your eggs are away. So honestly, it's like being punched in the face every day. You open up and Instagram's like, are you dry? No.
Oh my God.
You're dry. Like, maybe it's the perimenopause.
Oh my God.
Up. Who decided in this race, right? And I know there's a lot of my sisters out there fighting the good cause for the old menopause, but I'm 41. Yeah. Like, stop selling me this stuff.
Fucking hell.
That, although I was just telling my pal Caitlin about this, and she said, well, I'm being sold Turkish hair plugs for some reason.
Her algorithm is way off.
What's happened to your algorithm? No idea. She's got a beautiful head of hair, Caitlin. Anyway, so I was sick of that, and I thought I'm going to challenge myself, and I'm going to teach myself. I'm not going to teach myself, but I'm going to do a show where I do have to do something that challenges myself. And I chose, because I'm trying to find my sexy over 40ness, that I would do a show on a pole.
Yes.
So I am now learning very, very quickly that pole dancing is incredibly hard. I had done pole dancing in my 20s, and I am not in my 20s anymore. I'm also 2 stone heavier than I was in my 20s. Much easier to pull a skinny ass up a pole than it is to pull this one up. So I'm learning. I'm working with a guy from an organisation called ClanFit, Dan, who is an amazing pole dancer, and he is teaching me how to do this. I didn't realise how hard it was going to be. I have my first show on the 1st of April. I can do a fireman's spin, and that is about it.
Is that just going to go round?
That's just basically going round the pole. Like my 3-year-old did it today without any training. I was raging. He can also climb the thing.
I was going to say, nimble wee child just climbing up,
So it's really hard. And so I'm going to do this show. It's going to have a big finale. It might be of me falling. And I didn't really quite gather the concept that I was going to have to do it for 26 days in a row as well.
Yeah,
So I'm going to be ripped.
That is...
I'm going to be really ripped. I have no core. It keeps going on about my core. And
like,
I'm like,
what
I don't have a core. I've got Apple core. That's like, honestly... That's about it. I have no idea how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. Because it's in the brochure.
You're signed up to it.
It's signed off. And I'm going to do a show about pole dancing, or
Very
about...
cool.
Not really about pole dancing, but about my journey to becoming whoever it is I'm going to be.
So you're going to have to be doing up the pole, and you're then going to have to be doing comedy. I'm assuming while you're up there.
Well, I'm not sure how much of like, it's not, I think initially...
In my head, like, you're going to be up there being like, where are you from then? Yeah. What do you do for a living?
What do you do for a living? Where did you meet? Is this distracting?
Yeah.
No, so I think it'll probably be one of these things that they'll be off and on, and
Right,
there'll be points, probably aiming for a big finale at the end.
But I mean, you've got till August.
I've got till April for something.
First
For the working
first of April at the
Glasgow
Stand
Comedy
Stand.
Festival, Glasgow Comedy Festival. There's still some tickets left.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tickets gone because I didn't realise how many people wanted to see me fall on the backside.
That's so good.
All of the acts from Free for All are coming to see me fail.
They're just booking out the room as well, just them. When are you going to do that in Edinburgh then? Because surely the venue, because I remember you were saying about spandex, you were like, well, you've got high ceilings.
Yeah, so at the moment I have a pole which is a low ceiling pole.
Okay.
But for the Edinburgh Fringe, I will have a dance pole which doesn't have to attach to a ceiling. So it's on a stage that folds up and everything. Which, by the way, also costs like £700.
I was going to say that does not sound
No,
cheap.
I hadn't thought about any of that when I decided to have this amazing idea. Also, training with a professional pole dancer, very expensive. I've never had a gym membership either, so this is costing me so much money. So please come and see it. It will be very funny, and I may die.
Tickets will be 70 quid to pay for all this.
I know. And also I'm like, do you think Creative Scotland in this financial crisis, having lost 150 million or whatever they've lost,
be fine.
will give me money to dance in a pole? No, I don't think so. And also, there's a whole thing I have to kind of, I was going to go off on a tangent there, but it'll take too long. Never mind.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to talk about how sex work is real work and like all that sort of stuff. Which
We'll keep that bit in.
That's just weird. Sex work is real work.
Everyone will be like, out no context, you laugh at it. Be like, sex work is real work, by the way.
No, I do have to, like, there's part of me that's also, I'm doing this show, and I don't want to step on the toes of people who do this. The show is not about the sex industry. The show is it's not making any judgments about anything like that. It's very much about me finding my core.
Yeah. Mainly,
and the sort of physicality and physical challenge and choreography and beauty and movement.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt that that industry gets a bad reputation, and
especially
it gets looks down exactly in Edinburgh, and gets looked down on. And so I'm hoping to have a chat with some professional pole dancers. Nice. And talk about how I can incorporate something to kind of, because what I don't want to do, it's not my intention to I don't know, like kind of
raise awareness type.
Yeah, or plagiarize somebody's life experience. It's nothing about that. So it's not going to be, I want to make sure that I do that sensitively as well. Yeah, I just want it to be very joyful show.
Perfect.
So yeah, that's my whole thing. Joy.
It's a good way to do it, because I think a lot of people will just go, I'm just going to do a fringe show and it's just going to be a club set or something like that. And you're going, nah, here's an idea, and I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll be coming to see it.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for coming in, DJ. I'll put all your social media links and your ticket links for all those shows in the episode description. Give Jay a follow. Go and see the shows in Glasgow at the Glasgow Stand 1st of April, or Edinburgh during the Fringe.
Yeah, and come and see Bonafide because Ralph's coming on.
I am coming to see. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be good.
I have to figure out what the theme will be.
Yeah, that was another part I was going to answer, but just people just dying on their arse if they can't get the theme. But I'm guessing that doesn't happen.
No, because it's professional comedians. So Bonafide is a night that I run that's is for professional comedians. I give them a theme and they have to do material around that theme. Yeah. And generally, it's like a really fun experience because all the time, it doesn't matter. I've done it for 7 years now, and comedians come in and like, oh no, Jay, I'm not, and then they go on stage and have a brilliant time. Yeah. There's 2 people I've seen have a death at Bonafide in 7 years, and both of them were from lack of preparedness.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Like,
so you put the effort in.
If you put the effort in, you'll have a good time.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming on, Jay.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers. Yay. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.